Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Good Garvey Day, good Garvey Day, great Garvey Day. Brothers and sisters, this is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Kingkongconsciousness. I want to talk to my parents of autistic children right now. I want to talk to my parents of autistic children right now. I want to talk to my parents of autistic children right now. If you have an autistic child, please listen up. If you have an autistic child, please listen up. If you have an autistic child, please listen up. First of all, we're going to call this the 10 Commandments of raising and educating autistic children. 10 Commandments of raising and educating autistic children. The first commandment of raising and educating autistic children is to confirm whether or not they are in fact autistic. Commandment number one. Commandment number one. Commandment number one. Confirm for sure, ascertain whether or not your son or daughter is in fact autistic. A speech and language impairment can look like autism. Selective mutism can look like autism. Trauma and emotional abuse can look like autism. A hearing impairment can look like autism. Social anxiety could look like autism. And a child who learns or whose primary language is something other than English can look like an autistic child. Low self-esteem can look like autism. And a child who has been socially deprived of opportunities to build social skills with children their same age can also look like autism. So number one, make sure the child is autistic. Number two, don't be in a rush to confirm autism. Yes, they can evaluate your child at 3 and tell you he's autistic. Yes, they can evaluate your child at 4 and tell you he's autistic. Yes, they can evaluate your child at 5 or 6 and tell you he's autistic. But I'm here to tell you, as an expert, and I challenge anybody to refute this, you cannot absolutely, unquestionably confirm autism in a preschool child. I'm going to say it again. Understand, overstand, and understand me. You cannot absolutely confirm autism in a preschool child. The reason the preschool wants you to rush and get your child evaluated for autism, the reason the kindergarten teacher and the first grade and second grade teacher wants you to rush and get your child evaluated for autism is so they can get paid. It's so they can get paid. It's so they can get the subsidy that comes from early intervention services or grade school special education for you allowing them to qualify your child as autistic at a very young age. They don't care if your child is autistic or not. They want the money that comes with the child. They don't care if your child is autistic or not. They want the money that comes with the child. They don't care if your child is autistic or not. They want the money that comes with your child. Black parents, slow down. It is better to get it right than to get it wrong. It is better to get it right later than to get it wrong early. It is better to get it right at 7 or 8 than to get it wrong at 4 or 5. It is better to get it right at 7 or 8 than to get it wrong at 4 or 5. Slow down. Autism doesn't have a cure. Autism doesn't have a cure. Autism doesn't have a cure. And since autism doesn't have a cure, it doesn't matter if you confirm it at 3, 5, 7, or 9 because it does not have a cure. But I can promise you this. Put a child who is not autistic in an autistic class. Put a child who is not autistic in an autistic class, and I guarantee you, they will appear to be autistic because they will begin to imitate the behaviors of their autistic classmates. That's why it is important for you to not get your child evaluated and classified as autistic too early in life, because if you put them in an autistic class with other autistic children, they will start acting autistic. They will start behaving autistic. And although they are not autistic, they will appear to be, brothers and sisters. Slow down on getting babies evaluated for anything, but especially autism. Third commandment of raising autistic children: do not spoil them. Do not baby them. Do not enable them. Too many autistic children, especially the boys, are being spoiled. They are being enabled, and they are being sheltered. You cannot do that, because those children, although they are autistic, they still have to learn how to function in a world independently. You will not be able to hold their hands at 21 years old. You will not be able to hold their hands at 25 years old. So please do not shelter and baby and spoil and enable them so much that they become emotionally handicapped. If you emotionally handicap your autistic child, you might as well have them classified as severely and profoundly mentally retarded. If you're going to emotionally handicap your autistic child, you might as well get them qualified as retarded, because that's how they're going to look. If you, as the black mother or father, handicap your child emotionally by not making them learn to function independently. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but they have to learn how to be independent. Take them outside. Expose them to other children slowly, which takes me to my commandment number 4. Exposure therapy is necessary. And social skills therapy and exposure therapy are absolutely necessary for autistic children. What is exposure therapy? That is just a fancy word for gradually, patiently, and systemically exposing a child to their fears. If you have a snake phobia, we're going to gradually expose you to snakes. If you have a water phobia, we're going to gradually expose you to water. And if you have a phobia of socially communicating with your classmates, which is the case for a lot of autistic children, you're going to slowly, carefully, patiently, and supportively expose your child to other children. You have to do this. There is no such thing as my child is autistic, so I don't let him socialize with other children. Are you crazy? Just because he's autistic doesn't mean he can't learn social skills. He needs exposure therapy to get careful being around other children, and then he needs social skills therapy to work with other children. He needs exposure therapy to get comfortable being around other children, and then he needs social skills training to learn how to communicate with other children. That's number 4. Commandment number 5. Make sure your autistic child is getting the necessary speech and language therapy. Because if your child has a speech problem that is not being addressed, he may never or she may never develop the self-confidence necessary to communicate with other children. Too often, a speech problem appears to be an autistic problem. And sometimes you have an autistic child who has a genuine speech problem. But if the speech isn't making progress, neither will the social skills therapy. If the speech is not making progress, if your child is not improving in the area of speech, he cannot improve in the area of social skills, because you need speech in order to improve your social skills. Commandment number 6. Parents and educators of autistic children, please understand, autism is not intellectual disability. 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 An intellectual disability is a cognitive deficiency, not a communications deficiency. An intellectual disability is a cognitive deficiency. It is not an intellectual deficiency. Don't let the schools put your autistic child in a life skills classroom with the intellectually disabled child because they will do it. Do not let the school put your autistic child in a life skills classroom with the intellectually disabled children because they will do it. Autism and retardation are two different disabilities. Autism is a communications disability. Mental retardation is a cognitive and intelligence disability. Commandment number 7, and this is very important, autistic parents. Commandment number 7, and this is very important, autistic parents. Even though your child is autistic, it doesn't mean they need special education. Even though your child is autistic, it doesn't mean they need special education. Please keep in mind, in order to qualify for special ed services in the United States of America, your disability must adversely affect educational performance of your child in the regular education classroom. I'm going to say it again. In order for your autistic child to qualify for special education, his autism must adversely affect his educational performance. If an autistic child can learn in the regular classroom, they have no business with an IEP. I'm going to say it again. If the autistic child can learn in the regular classroom, they have no business with an IEP. I'm going to say it one more time. You cannot qualify for an IEP unless there is an AAEP. You cannot qualify for an IEP unless there is an AAEP. You cannot qualify for an IEP unless there is an adverse effect on educational performance. If there is no adverse effect on educational performance, the child cannot qualify. If all they need is social skills training, they can still learn reading in a regular class. If all they need is social skills training, they can still learn math in a regular class. Autism is not a learning disability. It only becomes one if it affects learning. Most autistic children have no problem learning in the regular classroom. So stop putting kids in special ed automatically just because they're autistic. Does the child have trouble learning in the regular class? Does the child have trouble learning in the regular class? If the child doesn't have trouble learning in the regular classroom, they should not be in the autistic class. Commandment number 8. Commandment number 8. Even if the child does need autistic support, even if the child does need special ed for autistic support, even if your child does need special ed for autistic support, make sure the classroom that the school is trying to assign your child to, make sure the classroom that the school is trying to assign your child to has appropriately matched your child to that particular autistic class. Make sure the school has appropriately matched your child to that particular class. Remember, autism is a spectrum. Autism is a spectrum. You could be autistic with normal intelligence. You could be autistic with gifted intelligence. You could be autistic and intellectually disabled. You could be high functioning autism, moderate functioning autism, low functioning autism. Make sure that a low functioning autistic make sure a low functioning autistic child is not in a high functioning autistic class. Make sure a high functioning autistic child is not in a low functioning autistic class. You must make sure your child is appropriately placed, because if they throw your child into any autistic classroom, your child will suffer. And in the ghetto schools, that's exactly what they do. They tell black parents all the time, this is the only autistic class we have, and your child has to go in there. And that's when you're going to tell them, that's not my problem. The federal government of these United States gives all special education children a right to a free and appropriate public education. a free and appropriate public education. If that class is not appropriate for my child, you are violating federal law. If that class is not appropriate for my child, you are violating federal law. If that autistic class is not appropriate for my child, you are violating federal law. Also, Black parents, make sure you visit the proposed class before school starts. Make sure you visit the proposed autistic support class before school starts. Make sure you visit the proposed autistic support classroom before school starts. And the reason you must visit the class before school starts is to make sure it is appropriately suited to your autistic child's needs. The class must be appropriately suited to your autistic child's needs. Any autistic classroom will not do. Any autistic classroom will not do. You have to go and observe the child and make sure the class is appropriately matched to your autistic child's skill level. Number 9, commandment number 9. If you're going to homeschool an autistic child, if you're going to homeschool an autistic child, if you're going to homeschool an autistic child, make sure you are ready for the demands of doing such, and make sure you adequately program for your child's social skills. The worst thing you can do is homeschool an autistic child and do not provide them with the necessary social skills training and social interaction with same-age children that they need in order to improve their functionality amongst peers and in society. If you're not going to homeschool the autistic child right, do not homeschool them at all. And that goes for all children, not just autistic children. Number 10, last but not least, do not give your autistic child medication. Do not give your autistic child medication. Do not give your autistic child medication. There is no cure for autism. There is no cure for autism. But teachers and doctors will try to brainwash you, influence you, manipulate you into giving your child medication. You know why? To deal with anger, because autistic kids get frustrated. To deal with distractibility. They want them to take Ritalin and Adderall so they can stay focused. Are these drugs going to help your child? No. They want you to give your child antidepressants to deal with mood disorders. Are any of these drugs going to help your autistic child develop social skills? No, they are not. Those drugs will make your child more afraid to interact with other children. Those drugs will handicap your child even further. Those drugs will affect your child's emotionality and intellectual functioning. Stop giving Black autistic children psychiatric medications. Stop giving Black autistic children psychiatric medications. Stop giving Black autistic children psychiatric medications. That is my tutorial for today. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Black College and Consciousness Tour coming up this spring. Tour 1, 11 to 17-year-olds. Tour 2, 18 to 25-year-olds. Black College and Consciousness Tour, hosted by the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, coming up in spring of 2022. Tour 1, 11 to 17-year-olds. Tour 2, 18 to 25-year-olds. Chattanooga, Tennessee. I will see you Thursday from 2 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Chattanooga, Tennessee. I will see you Thursday, November the 4th. Chattanooga, Tennessee. November the 4th, Chattanooga. If you need the flyer, text me. Free lecture, followed by book signing. Lecture from 2 to 4, book signing from 4 to 8. Lecture from 2 to 4, book signing from 4 to 8. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Thursday, November the 4th. Atlanta, Georgia, Friday, November the 5th. Atlanta, Georgia, Friday, November the 5th. Atlanta, Georgia, Friday, November the 5th. Aminola Griot Afrocentric Museum. Free event, 2 to 8. Vendors are allowed. If you want to be a vendor, text me for the flyer. Contact Sister Nisa. She will take care of it. If you want to be an Atlanta vendor, text me for the flyer. Get in touch with Sister Nisa. She will take care of it. Chattanooga, November 4. Atlanta, November 5. Greenville was going to be November 6. Greenville was going to be November 6. Greenville, South Carolina was going to be November 6th, but we couldn't find a location. We have to postpone Greenville, South Carolina. We couldn't find a location. We have to postpone Greenville, South Carolina. So now, taking the place of Greenville, are you ready? Taking the place of Greenville. Are you ready? Taking the place of Greenville on Saturday, November the 6th, the Prince of Pan-Africanism will be coming to Mobile, Alabama for the first time ever. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be coming to Mobile, Alabama on Saturday, November the 6th. The Prince of Pan-Africanism is coming to Mobile, Alabama on Saturday, September the 6th. Wednesday, November the 10th, Capitol Heights, Everlasting Life Cafe. Wednesday, November the 10th, Capitol Heights, Everlasting Life Cafe, 6 o'clock. Wednesday, November the 10th, Everlasting Life Cafe. Thursday, November the 11th, Nat Turner Land. We get started at 12 noon. We go until sundown. We get started at 12 noon. We go until sundown. We get started at 12 noon. We go until sundown. Go to natturnerlibrary.com. Go to natturnerlibrary.com. Norfolk, Virginia, Friday, November the 12th, Kroc Center. Norfolk, Virginia, Hampton Roads, 7 Cities, Friday, November the 12th. Doors at 4, program from 5 until 8. Doors at 4, program from 5 until 8. The Kroc Center, Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Virginia. Saturday, November the 13th, possibly Albany, New York, Black Expo. The Prince of Pan-Africanism comes to Albany, New York for the very first time. The Prince of Pan-Africanism comes to Albany, New York for the very first time. Black Expo, Saturday, November the 13th. And then the grand finale. And then the grand finale. Great Blacks in Wax Museum, Sunday, November the 14th. Great Blacks in Wax Museum, Sunday, November the 14th. Great Blacks in Wax Museum, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, Sunday, November the 14th, 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. Free event. Lecture from 2 to 4, book signing from 4 to 8. 2 events in Maryland, 2 events in Virginia, 1 event in New York, 1 event in Tennessee, 1 event in Georgia, 1 event in Alabama. I'm taking care of Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and New York. 6 cities, 6 states, 2 weeks. 6 cities, 6 states, 2 weeks. Excuse me, 7 cities. 7 cities, 4 states, 2 weeks. 7 cities, 4 states, 2 weeks. South Florida, I will see you December the 4th. Margate. South Florida, I will see you December the 4th. Margate. South Florida, I will see you December the 4th. Margate. Minneapolis, I will see you. Minneapolis, January 15th. Minneapolis. Scottsdale, Arizona, January 17th. Scottsdale, Arizona, January 17th. Albany, New York, November 13. Albany, New York, November 13. Atlanta, November 5. Chattanooga, November 5th. Mobile, Alabama, November 6. Capitol Heights Everlasting Life Cafe, Capitol Heights, Maryland, November 10. Nat Turner, November 11th. Hampton Roads, Norfolk, November 12th. Great Blacks and Wax, November 14th. If you need the flyer, text my cell. If you need the flyer, text my cell. 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Call the phone. Call the phone. It's all about the struggle for African people. It's all about the struggle for African people. It's all about the struggle for African people. Black parents, some of you better let me read your children's psychological evaluations before you sign. Black parents, you better start letting Dr. Umar read those evaluations. Some of those evaluations are horribly conducted and the reports are horribly written. I hope y'all reading your child's psychologicals. I hope you're reading your child's educational evaluations and your clinical evaluations. If you're not, if you don't understand them, you better hire me to read them. If you don't understand them, you better hire me to read them. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. I'm in central Pennsylvania right now. I'm in central Pennsylvania right now. I'm in central Pennsylvania. Shout out to everybody who came out to Allentown today. Shout out to everybody who came out to Allentown today. Shout out to everybody who came out to Allentown. I'm in central PA. Chattanooga, you are my next stop. Atlanta, you're after them. Mobile, Alabama, you're after them. Capitol Heights, Maryland, you're after them. Nat Turner, you're after them. Norfolk, you're after them. Albany, New York, you're after them. Great Blacks and Wax, Baltimore, Sunday, November the 14th. My great-great-great-grandfather, George Washington Belly's birthday. Looking forward to it. I ain't been to Baltimore in 4 years. I've never been to Albany. I ain't been to Chattanooga in 4 years. I ain't been to Atlanta in almost a year. I've never been to Mobile, never been to Albany. Nat Turner land, it's been a whole year. Norfolk, it's been 5 years. Come rub my beard, baby. You could rub the beard. You could come rub the lion's mane. Come on, baby. Come on. You could come rub the beard, baby. You know I love my queens. Black mothers, I know you raising kids by yourself, but I'm your educational husband. I am the educational and mental health husband for all black women raising children on your own. I'm your husband. I got scammers calling my phone. 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 African women, listen to me. If you are a black mother raising children on your own, I'm stepping in to be the father, not physically or sexually, not physically, sexually, or emotionally. I am your child's academic and mental health baby daddy. I am your educational and psychological husband. So when you go to the school, don't tell them you're a single mother. When you go to the school, don't tell them you're a single mother. Say, my husband is a school psychologist. My husband is never give him my name. Never give him my name. Never give. Deception is the art of war. Deception is the art of war. Say, my husband is a doctor of clinical psychology, and I'm going to talk to him about this ADHD evaluation you're trying to push on me. My husband is a school psychologist. I'm going to talk to him about you trying to force me to put my child in special ed. Ladies, you are no longer single. There are no single mothers in Black America. There are no single mothers in Black America. You might be single physically. You might be single legally. You might be single emotionally. You might be single sexually. But I am your academic and psychological husband. I am here to help you raise your children. I am your academic and psychological husband. I am here to help you raise your I am your mental health and special ed baby daddy. Black mothers, you are no longer single. When it comes to education and mental health, Dr.UMAR is your husband. When it comes to education and mental health, Dr.UMAR is your husband. So the question is, when are we going to have a massive marriage? At the next FDMG block party, Saturday, September the 10th, I'm going to marry all of my academic and psychological wives because there's no more single mothers in Black America. I am the father of all children who are without fathers. I am the father of all children who are without fathers. I am your public school husband. I am your mental health husband. I am your child's psychological father and your child's academic father. Don't ever say you a single mom no more. If you a single mom, I am automatically your academic and mental health husband. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Autistic parents, be careful. Chattanooga, I can't wait to see you. Atlanta, I can't wait to see you. Mobile, Alabama, I can't wait to meet you. Capitol Heights, Maryland, I can't wait to see you. Nat Turner Land, can't wait to get back to you. Norfolk, Virginia, can't wait to see you. Albany, New York, can't wait to meet you. Great Blacks and Wax, Baltimore, I miss you and can't wait to see my Baltimore queens. One of my Baltimore queens texted me today. Lord have mercy. 5-5. Let me be quiet. We must stay focused, brothers. Consciousness over cookies. Politics over punani. Romance over revolution. Consciousness over cookies. Politics over punani. Revolution over romance. You need tickets for Nat Turner, natturnerlibrary.com. You need tickets for Capitol Heights, elifepresents.com. I think the Albany Expo is free. I don't know. Baltimore is free. Norfolk is $10. You can pay at the door. Baltimore is free. Tennessee is free. Atlanta is free. Mobile is free. Tennessee is free. Atlanta is free. Mobile is free. Baltimore is free. You don't need tickets. You just show up. I also want y'all to know I'm going to start the Paintball Wars Excursion Weekend Getaways. Paintball in the park. Weekend retreat. Who wants to come with the Prince of Pan-Africanism to play paintball in the Poconos of Pennsylvania? Who wants to come with the Prince of Pan-Africanism to play paintball in the Poconos? Friday night social, all day Saturday paintball, Sunday we come home. Friday night social, all day Saturday paintball, Sunday we come home. Yes, my wife, that's one of my wives right there. Business over backshots. take care of the business, and then we will handle. We will butter the biscuits after we take care of the business. We will butter the biscuits after we take care of the business. But if we don't take care of the business, there will be no biscuits to butter. If you need a flyer, text me. If you need the flyers for Maryland, text me. If you need the flyers for Virginia, text me. If you need the flyers for Atlanta and Tennessee, text me. If you need the flyer for Mobile, if you need the flyer for Albany, if you need the flyer for Norfolk, Nat Turnerland, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. I'm in Central PA. Business, and then we butter the biscuits. Business, and then we butter the biscuits. You text me, no response. Was the text relevant? Somebody calling from Inglewood. Peace and Pan-Africanism. This is Dr.UMAR Ifatunde. Who am I speaking with?
Good evening, sir. This is Madiba.
Peace and love, Brother Madiba. How are you?
I'm wonderful and you, sir.
I'm well, my brother. I'm well.
Oh, cool. I think that I'm watching you live right now. I had questions about what you were speaking about earlier on with the autism.
Yes, autism. Go right ahead.
Okay, but it's actually ADHD, but it's just the topic you're talking about. So I believe that I have ADHD because I've Googled the symptoms, and my father also has them. I have the easily distracted ADHD. My father has the hyperfocus, but he has difficulty coming to comes with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I want y'all to do.
Yes, sir.
If you go online, Amazon, or to any bookstore, Barnes and Noble, there are ADHD workbooks. There are ADHD workbooks that you can get that will give you ideas, strategies, tips, techniques, and exercises that you can do to help you get your ADHD under control. I would recommend the workbook first. I would recommend an ADHD workbook first, because if you take those medicines, my brother, even though you are an adult, those medicines can really hurt you. They can really mess with your mind, your consciousness, your memory, your executive skill control. I mean, you could try them if you need to, because you're an adult, not a child. So you'll know when you need to stop taking them. You know, I do know adults who take the ADHD meds. They only take them when they need them, though. Only when they absolutely need them. But you don't want to take them every day, you know, because they will begin to mess with your brain cells, mess with your organ functions. They could cause schizophrenia, tic disorder, psychosis, overweight, underweight, oversleeping, undersleeping, psychotic dreams, nightmares. Just be real careful with the meds, my brother. I recommend the ADHD workbook first. And then if you don't get anywhere with that, you might flirt with the meds, but I'm going to give you something else you want to try. Go to the health food store. Go to any health food store and ask them for an ADHD. What do they call that? ADHD. They have these herbal remedies for ADHD. Liquid drops. You drop them under your tongue and they help calm down your central nervous system. Yes, sir. I'll give you the names of two of them right now. One of them is called Melissa Supreme. Melissa Supreme. That's one of the products. It is a concoction of different herbs, and you get it from the herbal store. Whole Foods got it, and you drop it under your tongue, and it helps calm your central nervous system. It is a replacement for, you know, the regular psychiatric medication. Another one is called, you're not a child, but the other one is called Calm Child, CALM Child, Calm Child. So you have Melissa Supreme, you have Calm Child, but there's so many of them, my brother. Those are just two of the more popular ones. But it's a whole bunch. And I recommend you take the herbs instead of the medicine, because the herbs doesn't have side effects. But the difference is the herbs take a while before they start working, because they're all natural. So if you pop a Ritalin or an Adderall or a Concerta or a Metadate, you're going to feel it immediately. But with the herbs, you might have to take them for maybe 2 or 3 weeks before you start noticing a difference. So you got to be patient with the herbs.
Oh, okay, but you would recommend the workbook first, yeah?
The workbook and the herbs.
And the herbs. Oh,
Do the workbook and the herbs together. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Because
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No problem, my brother. Be safe.
Cool. You too, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Now. See if I got some text messages. Let's see if I got some text messages. Who texting the prince?